The Irrational Confidence Podcast.
This is Friday night. Currently, at time of record, the Miami Hurricanes, they're at home. They're a 19-point favorite. The Virginia Tech Hokies are coming into South Florida in Coral Gables. At time of record, the over-under is set at 54.5. Fresh, Virginia Tech, we had a lot of hope for them early on in the year. They're 2-2 on the season already. Miami has looked like world beaters. They're 4-0. They're demolishing opponents. They're taking them to the woodshed. They're beating the living trash out of them, as you would say. Fresh, Miami going to 5-0, or is Vitek got something to say about this?
Well, apropos, we have a hurricane coming up on the panhandle here of Florida and probably going to go into Georgia. So that just means Hurricanes going to win big this week. This used to be a great Big East matchup. You know, Michael Vick taking on those great Miami defenses. You're right. We had a lot of love for Virginia Tech at the beginning of the year. We saw drones and then offense would finally get going, the defensive play. They have been one of the most disappointing teams early on this season. It's been pretty terrible. You lose to Vanderbilt, which Vanderbilt's actually proven to be a pretty solid program that's really grown on this year for Clark Lee. But it's just haven't seen that, all right, we shook that one off. We're ready to go and operate. They've just been up and down, ugly, sloppy, slow. It looks like the Hokies from 2 years ago. Because last year we kind of saw them, all right, they're getting some momentum there at the end of the year. Maybe they can carry this to the 24. We're seeing the 2021, 2022 version of Virginia Tech right now, and it's pretty bad. I don't really think they have much of a chance unless Miami just pulls a Mario Cristobal and just bleeps the bed. The Hurricanes, you got to come out here and just take care of business. Do not get too high on your horse. Don't look ahead. Cam Ward, Martinez, all those receivers, Restrepo, especially, just come out one play at a time, do your thing. Everyone's watching. Everybody's watching on Friday night. You have a chance to really, again, sell your program, showcase, only show in town, do your thing. If you come out there and look flat or you lay a clunker and you get upset, give everybody up, same old Miami. We're still waiting on the U. The U is not here. But you have a chance of going 5-0, locking yourselves in as the top 8 team in the country, top 6 team in the country, and really showcasing that the ACC is ours. As we talked before, the ACC is wide open. Clemson's starting to show life lately, but everybody else is just beating each other up, but not looking absolutely like world beaters outside of Miami. So secure your spot, take down Virginia Tech, do it with authority, and lock yourselves in everyone's mind that, all right, that's the team to beat. The Hurricanes are back. And get it done. We need to see now that the level of play is going to be better. Yes, you beat SAMU, you beat USF, you beat an average at very, very best, most likely a terrible Florida team. This is your chance to really showcase and to stack wins and beat more respectable programs. So go out there and do not lose the opportunities. If you choke, same old Miami, no one's going to believe you. You might actually cost yourself an at-large bid by just having a stumble. People will remember a loss to Virginia Tech on a Friday night when you're a more superior team, walking on that football field. In the end, I think the Hurricanes have this thing wrapped up by halftime. It will be a beatdown, Cat 5 warning, have the flags out, ready to go. Hokies, thanks for showing up to South Florida. Thanks for coming to Miami Gardens. Have a safe trip back home to Blacksburg.
Talk a little bit about the Hokies here, Fresh. The thing that kind of boggles my mind is the Hokies haven't been awful on defense. They've actually been fairly good on defense. 13 sacks on the year. They're getting pressure to the quarterback there as well. And you take a look at their defensive line. Their defensive line has really been pretty nasty up front and created a pass rush. That's going to be the interesting thing. I think that this is the first really strong pass rush that Miami is going to have to face, where you're going to have to get around and block somebody and make sure that you give Cam Ward full protection here. Doesn't mean I don't think Miami's going to win. Don't think it means that it's not a task that I think that the Hurricanes can't handle. But it is something that if we're going to talk about Virginia Tech, again, I think the disappointment for me for Tech is going to be on the offensive side of the football. I thought Drones would be better than he is right now. He's completing under 60% of his passes. Their running game has been good. They're, little bit over 750 yards. They're got 9 scores on the day, but they really need a better passing attack than what they have. Virginia Tech, yeah, you may be able to be a mediocre ACC team by running the football and playing good defense and being able to rush the passer. But in a game like this, Drones is going to have to throw the football all over the place. He's going to have to complete more than 60, maybe closer to that 70% elite mark for his passes there. You can't take sacks. You can't turn the ball over. All of those adages that all of us already know in football. But when you look at this, where could Virginia Tech make this a game? Again, you talk about Miami, you can't be upset in this game. You can't even have a close loss in this piece. And I'm going to get back to that part here in a second here, Fresh. Where would Virginia Tech be able to do it? It's going to be up front if they're able to get after Cam Ward and get him into 3rd and long consistently in there. I still think Miami's going to weather the storm and win this football game, but that's how Virginia Tech's going to be able to make it close. They're going to have to rush the passer, and they're going to have to play a ball control type of offense. I don't think they're going to be able to do it. Flipping over to the Hurricanes, though, for me, I've been thinking a lot about this Miami team ever since last week when we did our wrap-up show here, Fresh. And we were talking about, Miami looks like one of the best teams. Them and Texas have just looked like world beaters since week 1. I think it's interesting that we put those teams together because I've been asking myself all week, is this Miami Hurricanes team Texas from 22 or Texas from 23? I think that there's a lot of similarities between the two programs. Remember, Texas has grown over time to come back. It didn't happen automatically. For a decade, Texas was kind of like, they weren't Texas. They weren't the same team that we grew up with. And all the time we were like, well, when's Texas going to be back? When Texas is going to be back? And Sark did it gradually. And in 22, they were 8-4 in the regular season. And people are starting to say they're not fully back yet, but we're seeing those glimpses of them. Now, I think Miami's on a much better path. They're not going to be 8-4. But then last year, you see what Texas does, makes the 4-team college football playoff. And really, that's when they announced themselves, hey, we're back. And they've continued that role into this year. Same question I have for Miami. Where are you closer to? Are you closer to 22 Texas where you're building that up and you're only going to have a year of Cam Ward, so you're going to need someone right behind him to really take over the reins? Or are you closer to 23 Texas where you're ready to compete with the big boys and be where the big boys play because they have invested so much into NIL deals? This defense, a couple weeks ago, I said, I need to see Miami's defense really come to play. 16 sacks on the year, 8 interceptions. They're forcing turnovers. This is starting to look like a Miami defense from the 80s here. The one question I have, this is what I want to see from them Friday night. It's not anything with Cam Ward. Cam Ward, 70% completion percentage already, 14-2. I want to see Lyles and Martinez dominate a game. We've seen Cam Ward dominate a game. We've seen the passing attack dominate a game. I don't feel like we've really truly seen the Miami rushing attack dominate a game. And when I'm talking about that, I'm not talking about Lyles or Martinez or even Allen having an 100-yard football game. I'm talking where you put up like 250 team rushing yards and like 3 scores. I'm talking where no matter what, they can stack 8 in the box and they know you're going to run it down their throat and they got nothing to do to stop them. If we see that out of a Miami team, and even against a lesser opponent, and again, I hate the fact that we're calling Virginia Tech a lesser opponent because the fan base deserves so much better. I love Virginia Tech. I love this fan base. I love that stadium. I love Blacksburg. But this is not a great football team. This should be a better football team. They deserve so much more. If Miami is able to do that, I'm really starting to feel like we're seeing 2023 Texas.
I mean, I think the offense is there. I want to see them beat down better teams. Not really having on their schedule that's going to give us much of a measuring stick. It still kind of feels the way they hit the portal. A lot of senior-laden guys. This is a very top-heavy program. How can they be sustainable in 24, 25, and 26? Mario Cristobal's recruited them since he showed up there, and they've been bumbling around for a while. So is this a
Right.
1-year wonder because they won the Ward sweepstakes? We saw what Ward was looking at Florida State and Miami. Well, we saw what happened. Florida State didn't get Ward. They're trash. Would that same thing happen at Miami if they got DJU and Ward had gone to Florida State? I think it's a quarterback, leading engine. I need to see Miami in 25. How do they continue to keep carrying forward? It's 26. How do they carry forward? Before I start talking like a Texas revival, this seems like a 1-year blip on the radar, strike while the iron's hot, in my opinion, kind of like Florida State in 2023. It's 23 or 22.
Fair. All right, Fresh, let's go to our game that won our fan vote. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are not following us on the Twitter or the X or the Twix or whatever it's called these days, make sure you engage with us over there as well. We put a fan vote this week, one of the closest fan votes we've had in a long time here, Fresh. Usually that's dominated by 1 or 2 games, but